Good morning, everyone. All right, so we are at the last translation of Stage 11 of Cambridge Latin and the final chapter in the tragic tale of Lucius Spurius Pomponianus. And this time he is in Culina. So he's in the kitchen. We know that he was at first in Villa, then he was proprio teatro, and then he was in the foro. So he started out in the house. He went near the amphitheater. He went into the forum. And now he's in the kitchen. Look at the stage direction here that we're starting off with. Clemens, in Culina sedit, grumio intrat. Clemens is the nominative. In Culina is an ablative. So it's a preposition plus an ablative. So in plus ablative is the location, and sedit is the third person singular present tense verb. Grumio is the subject of this next sentence, and intrat's the verb. Clemens is sitting in the kitchen. Grumio enters. Clemens says, Salve Pompeiane, Hercleo, toga tua scisa est. Salve is obviously in form, is an imperative verb, but it's really just like an interjection. It's hey, hi, Pompeiane. So he's using an evocative here. He's addressing Grumio by his fake name, not a fake Pompeian, Pomponianus. Hercle. Hercle is another little exclamation there. It means, my goodness, by Heracles. Toga is the subject. Tua is, it is a possessive pronoun that's modifying tua. Scisa is, we'll just say that that's an adjective. It's a nominative. And est is the copulative verb. And it's, hi, Pompeianus. My goodness, your toga is torn. Right? Scisa is torn. And then Grumio goes, Eo, alaconius est amici in foro, me geperant, postquam fusto meum conspexerunt, clamabant, ecce pistor fortis, tum mercatores, me, verba auerunt. That is a hard word to say. Denarios meos rapuerunt, nunc nullos denarios habeo. Okay, so we know that eu is going to be an exclamation. It's like the last. Heliconius and amici are both nominatives, right? With that conjunction in between. The subject of the verb keperunt, which is a third person plural perfect tense verb. In foro is a prepositional phrase, and it is in plus ablative of location. Me is the accusative direct object. Postquam is a subordinating conjunction, and we know that everything between postquam and the comma is going to be a subordinate clause, a temporal clause. So postquam. Fustum, that's the accusative direct object. Meum, that is a possessive pronoun. Let's go into fustum. And conspexerant is the perfect tense verb. That is the main, it's the verb of the subordinate clause. The main clause, here we go, is clamabant. All right, that's really the only thing in the main clause. It's a single word main clause. It's a third person plural imperfect tense verb. And notice also that the subordinate clause, right? The subordinate clause has a perfect tense verb. The main tense clause has a imperfect tense verb because this temporal clause happens before the main clause, which is why it's a temporal clause. So perfect tense, it happened, and then imperfect tense, it happened later and is probably and was continuing to happen for a period of time. Then this is reported speech, ecce. That's another interjection. Just means like look, behold. Pistor is the nominative subject, and fortis is an accusative, or no, sorry, my apologies. It is an accusative adjective that is modifying pistor, or it could actually be, this could be evocative. Either there's a form of the verb to be that is dropped out. So look, there is a brave baker, or it's just literally calling out to the brave baker, the pistor fortis. Tum is an adverb. It's linking to the next past sentence. It means then. Mercatores is the nominative subject. Me is the accusative object. Verberauerunt is the third person plural perfect tense verb. Denarios is the accusative direct object. Meos is the possessive pronoun that goes with it. And rapuerunt is the third person plural perfect tense verb. Nunc is another adverb. Nullos denarios, the accusative direct object. Nullos is the adjective modifying denarios, and abeo is the first person singular present tense verb. And it is translated as, alas, Alaconios and friends in the forum seized me after they saw my club. They were shouting, look, a brave baker. Then the merchants beat me. They seized my denarii. Now I have no denarii. Right, so that's what he said. Again, sounds a bit like Wario, but whatever. Clemens, it goes, ego decim denarios abeo. And ego, it's the personal pronoun, it's the nominative subject. Decim denarios, it's the accusative direct object. Decim is it's a numeral, so it doesn't decline regularly, right? Denarios is the accusative plural. Abeo is the first person singular present active indicative verb. And it is, I have 10 denarii. And Grumio goes, decim denarios, 10 denarii. Clemens goes, Caecilius mihi decim denarios dedit, quod servus fidelis sum, hosquam pistores et mercatores pugnam commiserunt, Caecilius me conspexit. Duo pistores Caecilium verberabant. Dominus noster auxilium postulabat, Caecilius mecum e foro e fugit. Dominus noster mihi decim denarios dedit, quod liberalis est. Now we'll go through all of the actual grammar as to what's going on. So Caecilius is the subject of this first sentence, and it's the main clause, subject of the main clause. Mihi is a dative, it's an indirect object, right? Personal pronoun from the personal pronoun ego / me. Decim denarios is the accusative direct object. Dated is the perfect tense verb. Quod is the subordinating conjunction, which introduces a causal clause, right? So an adverbial causal clause. Servus is the subject of the subordinate causal clause. Fidelis is the adjective that is modifying it, and sum is the subordinated verb. All right. In the next sentence, postquam is another subordinating conjunction, which means that this is not going to be the main clause. Pistores et mercatores are both plural, but they are both also the subject of this verb, the main verb of this, not the main verb, the subordinate verb, the verb that is in this clause, this temporal clause that is begun by postquam. Pugnam is the accusative direct object, and commisserunt is the third person plural perfect tense verb. Now, you see that there's a comma here, which means that we know that we're ending our subordinate clause and we're starting our main clause. Caecilius is the subject. Me is the accusative direct object, and conspexit is the third person singular perfect tense verb. Now, on to our next sentence. This sentence does not have any subordinate clauses, so it's easy. Duo pistores, that's the subject. Caecilium, accusative direct object. Verberabant is the main tense verb, so it's an imperfect tense verb. Right? Next sentence, Dominus noster is the subject. Dominus is the subject. Noster is a possessive pronoun. It means our. Remember, think about words like Notre Dame. It means our in French, right? Auxilium is the accusative direct object, and postulabat is the imperfect tense verb. It is a third person singular. Next sentence, Caecilius is the subject. Me cum. We will at this point call it an adverb, but what it really is it's cum plus the ablative of association me, right? So it means with me. E foro is a prepositional phrase. Ex plus the ablative is an ablative of separation. And e fugit is the third person singular perfect tense verb. Dominus noster, again, we've got our subject. Me is the dative indirect object. Decim denarios is the accusative direct object. Dated is the third person singular perfect tense verb. Then we've got a comma here and a quod, so we know that we are in subordinate clause territory. Quod means because, and therefore it is an adverbial causal clause. And liberalis is a predicate nominative describing the implied subject of the master. And est is the copulative verb. So let's go through and translate this all together. Caecilius gave to me 10 denarii because I am a faithful servant. After the bakers and the merchants began the fight, Caecilius saw me. 2 bakers were beating Caecilius. Our master was asking for help. Caecilius fled with me from the forum. Our master gave to me 10 denarii because he is generous. Okay, and remember to follow along with my little laser pointer dot on the screen if you want to see what word I'm translating as I'm translating it. One other word I think that we have glossed here. We haven't really used it before. It's auxilium. So auxilium means aid or help. We get the word auxiliary from this, and I guess a slight note on this. If you see it in the plural, so it's a neuter noun. If you see auxilia, it is almost always going to be in a military context. So auxilium means help as the general concept of someone helping someone else out. Auxilia in the neuter plural is almost always going to mean forces or troops in a military connotation. All right, so let's see what Grumio has to say in response to Clemens. And Grumio says, Caecilius est. And Caecilius is the nominative subject, est is the verb, obviously. So Caecilius is ... ellipsis. Vale pomponiane. So Grumio is saying, this is another imperative verb. It's the exact opposite of salve. Instead of saying hello, it's goodbye. Just like the Beatles song, Hello, Goodbye. It's farewell, and then we're followed by an evocative pomponiane. He's referring to him still as Pomponianus, simply because I think that he's making fun of him a bit with this prank that he, not really prank, but this stunt that he decided to pull. So farewell, Pomponianus. And Grumio goes, Quo festinas, Clemens? And as we talked about this earlier, quo is yet another question word. It's not in the list of words that were laid out in the grammar section of this stage, even though we've seen it in 2 of the translations. Quo means where, or specifically to what place. To what place. So where in that sense. Not where are you, but to what place are you going. Right, so we've got a couple different words. Ubi is usually used for in what place. And you'll notice that if you're saying where are you, right? In what place are you? You'll use ubi. If you're going to say, if you're going somewhere, to what place are you going? You'll use quo. Now, as much as I'm going to tell you that this is an adverb, for those of you who want to start thinking more critically about Latin, you can think about it also this way. Quo is an ablative form of what's called an interrogative pronoun. And it's this, even though it will be glossed in most of your dictionaries as an adverb, really comes from an old ablative usage, right? So to what place, right? Festinas is a second person singular verb. We know, are you hurrying? So where are you going is what you would translate this as. And then Clemens is evocative. So where are you going, Clemens? And then Clemens says, obviously, because he has 10 coins in his pocket, ad portum festino, ibi Poppaea me expectat, placit nativi. So ad portum, obviously, is going to be a prepositional phrase, ad plus accusative. Festino is a first person singular present tense verb. Ibi is an adverb, it just means there. Poppaea is a nominative subject, first declension. Me is the accusative direct object. Expectat, third person singular present tense verb. Placet ne tibi, so we know that placet is an impersonal verb. It always has a implied it as a subject. Ne is that enclitic particle, letting you know that this is going to be a question. And tibi is going to be the dative direct object. We'll call it the object, the dative object of the impersonal verb, because we know that placet is intransitive, and therefore it'll take a dative, just like favio and just like credeo from the stage. So it means, I am hurrying to the harbor. There, Poppaea is waiting for me. And then the last bit, is it pleasing to you? As in, does it please you? And then Grumio goes, mi non placet, which is obviously dative, an adverb that negates, and then that impersonal verb. It means it is not pleasing to me, or it does not please me. You can translate it either way, although probably it does not please me. It is a little bit more fluid. All right, guys. So brace yourselves. We have had this one little bit of comedy that will set us up for the next stage, which is called Vesuvius. It will be less comic than this stage. It is the thrilling conclusion of book 1. I'll see you guys there. Do your homework.